Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Black Health and Wealth Show. Yes, we are back from our summer break. And today what we're going to talk about is overdraft fees, okay? And why it's important to keep track of your money. Where's your money going? How are you spending your money? Because these overdraft fees are killing the American public. Just so you get an understanding of what I'm talking about, 3 of the biggest banks in this country, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, just in the first quarter of this year did $1 billion. By the end of this year, they're on track for $4.5 billion. Now, this is the first year that banks have had to disclose overdraft fees that they're charging to their customers. And just so you get a perspective of how these banks are doing, there were 600 banks that throughout the country that disclosed this information. Those 600 banks in the first quarter collectively, which included these 3, did $2.5 billion. Just 3 banks did $1 billion of that. Now, those 3 banks are also on track to do $4.5 billion in overdraft fees for the year. Now, you may think that that's a lot of money, and it is, for the average American, for most of us. But for those banks, it only represents like 6 to 8% of their overall revenue. They get revenue from other places like moving some of their larger clients' money around, dabbling in the market, the interest that you pay on these loans from these banks. So that's, just one of the streams of income is the overdraft fees. Now, there are 2 banks in Texas that are headquartered in Texas. One is called Woodforest and the other one is the First National Bank of Texas. Now, where these 3 big banks, this is a small part of their revenue stream. These 2 other banks that are headquartered in Texas, this represents 40% of their annual revenue. So what this is basically saying is that we like you folks not knowing how to spend your money. We like the fact that you are ignorant to the fact of balancing a checkbook, keeping track of where your money is going, and they love people with direct deposit because they know that they're going to get their money before you even get your money. So as soon as that money is directly deposited, boom, they're hitting you over the head with those fees, taking that money off the top, and you're going to be left with what's left. So you need to learn to become more financially literate. Now, just one of the things that happened over this summer during this break is yours truly, your host, Kevin Boyette, went and got certified as a financial educator. So I'm going to be helping you all throughout the next few weeks, months, years, become more financially literate. That's my job. That's my mission. That's my goal. However you want to put it, I'm here to help you all. And just so you know, there's a book written by a gentleman by the name of Wallace Wattles. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. And if you want to go online and read this book, you don't even have to go out and buy it. It's online. It's online for free. Okay. Once again, financial literacy, stuff's online. Use Google. But the website is gettingrichscience.com. This book was written in 1921. And I want to just read the end of the first chapter to you. It is perfectly right that you should desire to be rich. If you are a normal man or woman, you cannot help doing so. It is perfectly right that you should give your best attention to the science of getting rich, for it is the noblest and most necessary of all studies. If you neglect this study, you are derelicting your duty to yourself, to God, and humanity, for you can render to God and humanity no greater service than to make the most of yourself. So understand, people, we're here to help. I definitely want you all to make the most of yourself, so I'm going to do my part to help you be the best that you can be. Okay, yeah, that's an old Army thing. I'm former military, so it all works for me. So on that note, start a budget, start learning how to balance a checkbook. Okay, they don't teach home ec and those things in school anymore. So we have generations of kids that don't know how to balance checkbooks and don't know how to maintain their money. But learn how to balance the checkbook. Learn how to budget your money. Pay attention to where you're spending your money. Pay attention when you're using that card. If you've been keeping up with the videos from the 21-day financial fast, try to use cash as much as possible. Put that debit card, put that credit card away. Save for a rainy day. Start, creating an emergency fund. Start creating additional streams of income. Learn how to do those things. And like I said, over the next few weeks, months, years, that's what you're going to be learning here. So on that note, I want you all to have a fabulous weekend. Glad to be back. Glad to be sharing this information with you all. Peace and love, people, and I will holler at you on the next episode of the Black Health and Wealth Show. Remember to like, learn, watch, and share. Share, 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 okay? Our people need this information.